We have some people here who are working very much with a future forward-looking angle. I'm going to let all of you introduce yourself a little bit in a moment. Deepu, would you like to say just a couple of words about yourself and the job you do?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me on behalf of Nvidia. What a wonderful building and what a wonderful city. My name's Deepu, and I lead robotics and edge computing at Nvidia. I've been working at Nvidia, had the great fortune for the last 11 and a half years or so. And we're working on the latest and greatest technologies using artificial intelligence. So looking forward to chatting with you.
Rainer.
Yeah, also thanks for having me here. I'm at Siemens responsible for the automation business. And I just want to reflect to what Kim said. You know, my passion is really as market leader for automation to bring automation to the next level, to really fulfill the major topics we have in society. And therefore, we need to bring IT technology, AI technology, but also a lot of activities around Teradyne, around robotics into one system and give that to our customer, to industry at their hand to make it easy to use. And that's my passion.
Ujjwal.
I'm Ujjwal Kumar. I'm Group President for Teradyne Robotics. And I'm so excited to have great innovative companies like you are and Mir on our platform. I've been here slightly less than JP, started in July of last year. And most of my career has been with larger companies. And I'm hoping to bring in that unique insight of how do we take this great platform we have to solve problems for the large customers the same way we have solved for small and medium customers for a long, long time.
Thank you. We are going to go deep in a minute, but before we do that, and especially for our podcast Reautomated, which we will come back to this discussion for, could each of you tell me very shortly one thing that really excites you about robotics right now? Deepu.
Wow. I think there's two simultaneous forces that are really happening right now that's going to change the trajectory of AI and robotics. I mean, AI is not that new, robotics is not that new. However, the advent of generative AI in the last 12 months, coupled with the simulation and digital twin technology, both of those things are really at a tipping point right now, and combination of that, I think, for the next 5-10 years is going to change the trajectory of robotics.
Rainer.
Well, a lot of the unsolved automation tasks which can be solved using AI, using automation, you need robots. And therefore, you know, that combination that fascinates me, how we bring those things together to solve the last remaining task to be automated.
What excites me the most about this space is the collaboration is at the core of how we solve our customers' problem. No one company has all the technologies needed to solve this problem and will need to work together to understand the problems and solve it at a very fast pace.
And we have talked about this building is being built for collaboration. After this, we're going to go and look at some robots. I hope all of you will go and look at some robots. You're also going to see some real collaboration going on with our robots and our partners, applications, and our robots working together. But we also work and collaborate through real company collaboration. And I'd like to think a bit about what collaboration means to you. And Nvidia is an interesting one, because people don't naturally think about robotics straight away, but I know it's something that you're really working on now. What does collaboration mean to you in that space?
Yeah, I mean, Nvidia, we are a platform computing companies. In the area of robotics, for example, we don't build robots. We work with every company in the world that's building robots or robot platforms. So what we are bringing to the table is, number one, people think of Nvidia as a chip company or making hardware for all sorts of computers in the data center and servers, and also even edge computers. We definitely do that. And in fact, for robotics, the robot brain, we call it Nvidia Jetson. Most of the robots today, use that. But also for the training and simulation of these robots, for creating the AI, for simulating this AI in the virtual world digital twin. So we provide that infrastructure, if you will. But more importantly than that, we provide all the acceleration libraries, all the AI core, AI capability that gets integrated into the hundreds and thousands of companies who are building robotic platforms and robots. And so our go-to-market, our complete approach is it's 100% collaboration, because we are a platform company.
Which is great for Teradyne Robotics. And we've also been collaborating very recently with you a lot. And Rainer, we've also been collaborating with Siemens. So super interested in the way that Siemens approaches collaboration between companies.
Well, first of all, thanks for Universal Robots being a very trustful supplier to our factories, because we are a customer of Universal Robots, and I was very pleased to hand over, I think 2 years ago, the supplier award to Universal Robots. So we are leveraging that, and we want to build world-class factories by ourselves, and world-class factories need world-class robots, and that's the reason why we are very mainly using UR. But not only in the factories, but also when we want to demonstrate where technology moves, we're going to also mainly using URs in our demonstration kits and so on. So that's also good, and we are collaborating there. We might collaborate in the US of getting closer, showing together the customers, if you bring automation and robotics and AI together, what can be done, making that tangible, making that real. And one topic where we believe our role, as we also don't build robots, and we always have been asked, why are you not building robots? Everybody else builds robots, do automation robots. I think there are so great robot companies on the market. Why should we also build robots? I want to integrate and provide it's a seamless integration of robot in the complete automation solution. And that was the reason we are collaborating with Universal Robots of bringing a standard command robot interface into the market. And why is that great? Because we currently have somebody programming automation in the Siemens world. We have 200,000 active users every week programming, and they are capable to program an automation controller. Not everybody is capable to program a robot. But you need to program a robot, you need to integrate the robot into, for example, line structure, which you have in factories. So now we collaborate and say, can we access the robot from the PLC program seamlessly? And we just brought that together out of the market, I think, for that. And I'm really looking forward of making robotic much more accessible to a broad audience of all automation users.
And it's a real theme, I think, about saying we can't do everything. In fact, we're building one type of robot, primarily at Universal Robots, and we're not trying to build other types of robot. And that's where we go for partners. And Ujjwal, when you look at the ecosystems that really generate value to customers and partners in the companies that you're running, where do you see the ecosystems going? And in fact, we have a lot of ecosystem partners here. They'll be interested. What's the future for the ecosystem?
No, great. I think on the ecosystem side, there are two ways in which I see us moving from where we are today. Like, we have one of the largest ecosystem in the robotics world by a huge margin. But number one is what Rainer just touched upon. This is bringing in bigger players who can help us bring in, open up our ecosystem to new customer problems, like with this SRCI, which I understand we have been dragging our feet for 5 years. We finally got through that. These are ways in which now we'll bring in bigger players like Siemens, like Nvidia. We have several consulting companies which Daniel is working hard to collaborate with. These are ways in which we will get into new set of customer problems for large companies and medium, small-sized companies, which we have not had access to. And the second one is for the ecosystem partners we have. We want to bring in AI as a huge new tool to solve problems which are of higher mix, even unstructured environment. And that is where we are working closely with Nvidia to see how do we make that whole process more standard, like give them a kit. We started, Eric is here, a fund where we will pick some of these small-sized players who can also bring in these AI technologies quickly into our ecosystem.
And I think that's a great bridge, because anyone who knows these companies will be sitting here thinking, when will they get onto the topic of AI? So let's do that. Before we get really overexcited about AI, I want to ask you, Deepu, is there anything that you hear about AI on the radio, TV, that just really frustrates you?
Well, I wouldn't say it's exactly frustrating. I mean, deploying AI in the operation technology world can be a little bit challenging. And this, you have to be a little patient, but you also have to work on the most important problems and go deep. And that's really what we have here, the collaboration with Siemens and Teradyne. We've been working on this methodically for several years now. So when people think of robots, typically it's been hardware in the past, and it's about mechatronics in the past, right? So think of the robot computer, they think of all the mechanicals and the electromechanicals, right? Electricals. With AI, what's happening is you want to make sure that AI is the one that's helping you solve problems that was not solved before, right? But to do that, you need to go deep into problem by problem. There isn't one AI yet, maybe someday in the future, but not yet today, that generalizes across every particular task. So what we do, for example, in the case of universal robotics, of course, it's all about manipulation, right? So there's many problems in manipulation, but one of the first problems with manipulation is what's the best optimal way to plan the trajectory and to plan, and what's the best way to move around obstacles. And it sounds simple for us humans because we know exactly how to move an arm or go around it, right? But it's not that easy for a robot to do all of that. So we've been working with the UR team. How do we infuse AI into universal robotics software technology, which is what's used by every company is using UR, right? How do we embed into that? That's one example. In the case of autonomous mobile robots that are moving things from point A to point B to point C, it's all about operating in unstructured environments and navigating autonomously, right? And for humans, we have our eyes and we have our senses and we somehow know how to go, but it's not that easy for a robot. So you have to build these, AI capability for autonomous navigation. And then with Siemens, Siemens has been, automating automation for, should I say a century plus?
A century? No.
No, tens of years at least. Decades.
Yeah, tens of years.
Tens of years, right? Okay, several decades now, right? And the way Siemens does is they have amazing hardware and wonderful tools as well. So how do you infuse those tools with this AI technology? And these things take time. And it's not a frustration, it's just that you gotta have patience to get all of these integrated so that if we have a platform, we deliver it to another platform company, which goes into another platform, eventually it goes into robots. So that's just, you gotta be a little patient, but go and solve problems, the most important problems, in a deep manner.
Got it. Ujjwal, what excites you the most about AI and robotics? I think it's what you often call physical AI.
Sure. So yeah, I am going to use this term physical AI as opposed to digital AI, because here you're taking AI to a whole different fidelity, actually doing something different in the physical world. There are three ways in which we see helping our customers. Number one, it is adding new capabilities to our robots. Number two, it's making our robots smarter and like smarter path planning or navigation, pallet detection. There are so many different ways in which we are just solving a lot more problems in unstructured environments. And number three is it is making our collaborative robots, which are known for safety, it is taking our safety and reliability to a whole different level.
And Siemens, Ryder, we've been collaborating on AI-based technology, which is super exciting. I just want to come back to what Deepu was saying about time. When you start thinking about time in this, for me as a desk worker, AI started in 2023, and it just shot off. And that's not the case for you and robotics and for my engineering colleagues here. But where are we in that timeline? Are we well into it, or are we just getting started?
Well, I think there are two ways on AI. The one AI, which really starting with the one which is starting to scale, and you have a lot of anecdotes, you have a lot of proof of concepts, and you can show here and here and here. I think what we need to look at how we scale it and how you make it industrialized. So industrializing AI, where you can deploy a model, you can inference a model, you can monitor the model, and that in a very, very automated way. And we need to do that in order to scale. We need to do it, give tools to the hand of our customers where we don't need to be an AI expert in order to do AI. So it needs to be very easy. Maybe without AI expertise, you can operate a system which is based on AI. This is where we need to work on to get to scale, because else it's always a niche where experts are working on something. And that's the reason, for example, we show also here with UR, where we want to enhance the skill of automation. Like you said, a human knows how to grasp something and put it somewhere. And now you can train the AI, the object, how to grasp it. We didn't want to train the object. We want to train the skill. Because my view is I want to enhance automation to the next level. That means automating the unpredictable. Automating a lot size one. Because currently what you automate is mass production. If you have a conveyor belt and that you automate and produce the same thing over and over again, perfect for automation. Automation is not good if you don't know what to automate, and you might need to do that because markets are so dynamic. You need to produce today A, tomorrow B, and you don't have time to reprogram. And you want to automate maybe a lot size one. If it goes into individualized medicine, if it maybe in the future goes into repair. If you want to repair something, it's a lot size one because you cannot pre-think of what is defect. So you need to bring automation next level, and there you need AI. Because the robot or the machine itself needs to detect what to do in order to fulfill a task. And the topic of grasping was a skill we trained, the skill of grasping, not the object, the skill. And with that, we want to enhance automation to more skill-based automation system in the future that can use robotic or cannot use robotic, but we want to move it to that level because at the end, I want to have not a rule-based automation. I tell the automation, you need to do this, 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 if this problem comes, because then I need to know the problem. I want to give a goal-based automation, do this. How you do it, you figure out by yourself. That's the one area where I'm very excited to move automation forward. Now, when AI came to your desktop, this was very much about generative AI. And generative AI is another very, very interesting field, which probably is a catalyst also to bringing AI to the OT world, because suddenly you don't need to be an expert. You can generate a lot of things by AI. And we are very much into that, and we just showed on the Hannover Fair that we have a co-pilot where you can program the future controllers. If you now have the standard robot library with UR, you basically don't even need a PLC programmer to program it. AI gonna write the program, and you only test and verifying it. And that probably will accelerate the usage of AI significantly, also then in the operation technology.
I think one thing that's really interesting when we get onto AI is we really swiftly move into machines and how amazing machines are and technology, which is good. It's what we're here for. But actually, if you look at the vision of our company, we talk about creating a world where people work with robots, where people work with robots. So, Ujjwal, what does that mean to you? What does AI do to the human interaction with a robot and with their jobs?
So, I see AI helping in multiple ways with human interaction. Number one, these collaborative robots took the safety to a whole different level. Number two, with this now natural language speech recognition, now those you'll be interacting with robots very differently. Third one is this emotions detection, which is a fast evolving space, where now you'll be using these robots in-house for medical care. They'll be close to you, not in this formal work environment. It'll be when you are in pain in a hospital or you need some kind of care or help at home, that AI will bring in those emotions detection to take these human-machine interaction to a whole different level.
Super. So we've thought about the future a little bit, and the future's arrived, and we know that. But let's just bring it back to the real world and what you see in your job. So, Ujjwal, you've been in your job for how many months in this?
Yeah, 10 months.
10 months, and you came from factories before, so you have a long history of manufacturing experience. When you go out now and you're traveling and you're seeing customers and partners, what difference are you seeing our technology making out there?
Like I'll first start with what Rainer just shared, and we had not talked about this, but it is something which large manufacturers we see as the new reality, that lot size of one. The fact that we have so much variability, that economies of scale, which I lived with in my whole career from General Motors to GE to Honeywell, and you are seeing that you had that in Siemens, it's gone. This is the new reality, that lot size of one, the fact that the problem for large manufacturers is the same as what small and medium manufacturers they have lived with throughout their life, which is so much variability. You give me these industrial robot which can do the same thing in a very high volume way. I don't have those applications. I need to tweak my design continuously. Shelf life of those designs are a lot shorter. What really excites me when I go into the world and talking to customers, the collaborative robots, now combined with AI, has the solution for this pain small and medium customers lived with, and the large customers, now it is a new pain for them.
And you mentioned that you're already using cobots in your factory. And we know you have some fantastic, we have great pictures of Siemens factories with lines of cobots in them. Can you say anything about your experience as a customer in terms of implementing and bringing in that kind of technology into your own factories?
Well, the last picture I remember with a UR robot was at the Hannover Messe, where the German Chancellor and the Norwegian President was on stage, and we used AI. We said we make it very fancy, and we used AI speech recognition to move the robot faster, the UR robot faster. And it didn't work out at the beginning. It was a bit embarrassing, but it wasn't embarrassing because at the end, you only should have said, "Hello, AI." And then it would have started. Like you say Alexa, and then it starts, and it wasn't activated, so it didn't work. But that was the last time we had UR and Siemens on the picture. But yes, you're right. We are heavily using UR in our factories, and I think one showcase or lighthouse is our factory in Erlangen, where we have fully integrated line, where we basically could switch off the lights, and we're using drives and inverters, really from the end to from the beginning of all the assembly to the testing, the packaging, putting it into a box, so everything fully integrated. And I think what we try to do here is, I think UR is always very strong having that individual task to solve in a small mid-sized company. Bringing UR into a complete line, connecting everything, putting a complete safety concept into it, simulating the complete line upfront in a virtual world, and then deploying it into the line, or further optimizing the line. I think that we can very well show in our facility in Erlangen. And on top of that, Siemens was last year announcing we're going to invest $500 million in that site. And we want to reap the first side of really having everything, and we call it now industrial metaverse, where we really want to have a complete simulation. We have all the data accessible. We're already accessing now the data of UR, of the different robots, because at the end, you want to have a digital twin of the entire factory, which you're not only using for design purposes to optimize before, you want to use that in real life. So you want to get the data out of your system of everything, have it in the virtual world, have it in industrial metaverse, and then further optimizing or changing things or analyzing things and so on. So that's the next step, and we are looking forward to do that also very closely with Nvidia and with UR.
Let's have another quick fire. Key drivers for these technologies. So putting aside the robot business part, if you are in a factory today, what's your key driver for automation?
I think it's two things, generative AI and digital twin. And I think you mentioned it. 2023 was the year for you when it changed. And that's really because of ChatGPT. For the first time ever, you don't need programmers. You could just chat with text or voice. So that technology is coming into the operation OT world, if you will, right? And generative AI is going to change robotics, automation in two main ways. One is the user interface. You don't need robot programmers anymore. You can talk to a robot, or you can talk to the automation, or you can command in terms of texting it. So that's on the UI side. And then the generative AI is more accurate, and it's also turning out to be more generalizable, meaning you don't have to train on one particular task. Just like ChatGPT, you can ask it about anything. You can ask about the weather. You can ask about your family. You can ask about something, right? Anything. It's generalizable fairly well. So generative AI is one of those driving forces. And then secondly, I think we talked about we're working with Siemens very closely, and now we're also working with Universal Robotics. Simulation is actually a key tool. It's not a new thing. Simulation has existed for a long time. And it's because it's faster, cheaper, safer to do in simulation versus the real world. But now, with this industrial metaverse, as Rainer said, we have this platform at Nvidia called Omniverse, which allows you to train AI, which allows you to get the right model, the right physics, and the right manipulation, and also the right visual fidelity, that you can try thousands of simulations in parallel, roughly free, compared to in the physical world. So that is also going to transform pretty much all the automation.
Ryan, a key driver for automation that you see in factories?
I just need to reflect to Kim. I mean, it's companies want to produce very close to the consumption, because that's, from a sustainability perspective, a major aspect. So you need to produce where the people sit, and that could be in high-cost countries. So the problem now is, first of all, it's high cost, and you want to produce to a competitive price. And secondly, we're living in an aging society, and you don't find the people anymore to produce. So if you really want to move forward into sustainable production, keeping industry within kind of developed countries, it's very, very important to get automation. And in order to get there, AI is now really probably a game changer, where you can solve a lot of the problems you had. You didn't have the people who want to work in the factory, you don't have the people to program the automation, and you don't have the flexibility to automate what you could automate in the future, having that lot size 1 aspect in place. And that's basically what drives our customers forward. And the last topic, maybe that's also very important to mention, the aspect of sustainability. So, and then the question is also, how AI going to help in the aspect of sustainability? And I just was mentioning, my dream would be really, maybe before I retire, we have an automatic repair. So we have robots who identify, because if I take my washing machine and I call somebody, then maybe somebody's coming and said, we better buy a new one. Repairing it doesn't make sense, and don't find people to repair it. If you think about what we are working on really as we speak, car batteries for EVs. You want to not throw away the entire battery pack. You want to probably maybe take a cell out, repair it, have a second life. But you do that, you need to have electrician, because this is high voltage. So you have a first problem. You get a battery which might be defect. What do you do now? You find an electrician who did discharging it. Can you do that automatically? Then can you disassemble it? Can you do that automatically? Can you have AI identifying what is the problem in that battery, maybe using digital twin? And so going more into automated repair in the future, that would be also something, a big, big lever for sustainability. Repair before recycling.
Great. We thought very hard about how to take questions today and whether we were going to have people raising their hand in the audience. But what we did is we turned to our social media followers. And a few days ago, we said, we got this panel coming up. Did they have a pressing question? So we've chosen a couple of those questions to fire at you today. Ujjwal, safety. How much focus will we see on safety when it comes to cooperation between humans and robots?
So the whole field of collaborative robots was created with safety as the #1 focus. And I feel this will be one of the key differentiator for this new automation technology as we bring in AI and other ways to get more value out of robotics.
Okay. And I'm going to take one, because people need to go and have water and refreshments. But Deepu, this one I'm going to send to you. So somebody wrote, a common issue I've seen over the years at various facilities is poor planning. With production logistics, machine placement, shipping, will AI be able to optimize efficiency in all aspects of production?
I think the answer is absolutely yes, and this is where the digital twin comes in. And you see the industrial metaverse that Raina was talking about. You can actually plan the layout in simulation and operate it. And if it doesn't pan out the way you want, you change it in simulation before you decide to put it in the physical real world. So I think that kind of work is happening as we speak right now.
I'd like to thank our panelists for coming, and I'm going to just ask Kim as well. Can we get Kim's microphone on as well? Kim, you've been listening, and I can see that you've been taking some notes at the front. Is there anything that strikes you from that conversation?
Yeah, I took some notes because you asked me to take some notes.
You see how it works here.
So yeah, so thanks for sharing. Really interesting, I think, and I got a quick summary of what I heard and the takeaways I heard as well for us. And the two key summary points is AI combined with digital twin simulation, combined with robotics, will over the next 5-10 years probably change everything as we know it today. It's pretty exciting, especially if you're at the forefront of this, which we are. The second thing is, in order to achieve all that, collaboration between cutting-edge tech companies is absolutely necessary. Like what you heard is that Nvidia is not making robots, Siemens are not making robots. We're making robots, but we're not doing what Siemens and Nvidia does. So we stick to what we do best, and then we get together and we combine it into something magic. And what we need to do is to through scale, make robots increasingly available and accessible to everybody. And we need to innovate to solve problems in unstructured environments, which is one of the big challenges in automation today. And we need to take all that learnings back into the actual platforms that we individually do. So anybody can get an opportunity to use that, our partners, and so forth. So the takeaways I took is the opportunity, I think, out there for all of us is nearly endless. We're just starting this whole journey. In fact, we hardly started, if I'm listening to what we could actually go do. And two is, we have the tools, we have the skills, we have the talent as well. So I think the last thing we need to do is all of us, collectively, we need to step up, we need to work together, and then we go solve these problems head on.
Good. Great job with the notes.
That's good notes.
Thank you to our panel. Thank you very much.